devotion. Every week around this time, 11 o'clock on Wednesday, we stop what we're doing and hear a word of grace. And so we're going to get right into it. One of my favorite Psalms to recommend people read and pray with is Psalm 69. It's a psalm of lament, one in which the author verbalizes feelings that, whether implicitly or explicitly, many of us have been told we should not feel. In a society of oppressive optimism, Psalm 69 lets us externalize those feelings of despair, of lost hope, of feeling listless, and whatever else gets you down. I've recommended it to people going through divorce proceedings, to people who just got fired from a job, people who are afraid to go home, and others. Just listen to a couple of lines. Save me, God, because the waters have reached my neck. I have sunk into deep mud. My feet can't touch the bottom. I have entered deep water. The flood has swept me up. I am tired of crying. My throat is hoarse. My eyes are exhausted with waiting for my God. Who hasn't felt like that before? Who hasn't felt like you are treading water at best and sinking fast at worst? Who hasn't felt like their eyes can't produce more tears, their throat can't take any more, and they are just fed up with waiting for things to get better? I know the disciples, Jesus' disciples, felt like this when they were out on the water with Jesus snoozing away. Their leader and teacher had insisted on an evening boat ride, something that is mostly not allowed even today with electricity. Then he up and fell asleep. He was still snoozing when a squall arrived. Winds pummeled the single-masted boat. Waves rolled over the sides, flooding the boat, tossing it to and fro, threatening to capsize them. If they had any wherewithal during the chaos, I'm sure Psalm 69 reverberated in the thoughts of those disciples. After he was awoken by their accusation that he doesn't care about their impending watery death, his shouting at the winds and waves to be still with immediate success, and his subsequent admonishment of them for being afraid and not trusting he loves and cares for them, the disciples are chastised and amazed. They don't even say thank you. They just wonder aloud who their leader really could be. But I'm also sure their Psalm 69 cry of lament, "Don't you care about us?" turns into a Psalm 107 shout of joy. Here is 6 verses from Psalm 107, and see if it doesn't remind you of the disciples in their boat. God spoke and stirred up a storm that brought the waves up high. The waves went as high as the sky. They crashed down to the depths. The sailors' courage melted at this terrible situation. They staggered and stumbled around like they were drunk. None of their skill was of any help. So they cried to the Lord in their distress, and God brought them out safe from their desperate circumstances. God quieted the storm to a whisper. The sea's waves were hushed. So they rejoiced because the waves had calmed down. Then God led them to the harbor they were hoping for. The disciples cried out, and God met them in their distress. God met them in their cry. God was not absent, not disinterested, not idle. God met them and saved them when they found the death of their power. Only those who are dead can be raised. That's when God meets you too. When Psalm 69's words come naturally, when life has become nothing better than a raging storm, when you are sure you are going to sink under. God's office is not just at the end of your rope, but it's amid the wind and waves and storms of your life. That's where God will find you. Thanks for joining me for this week's devotion. I hope you heard that word of grace. Please like and share it with someone whom you need to hear it. We're invited to join us for worship at 10:30 on Sunday. But if not, our benediction is the same as always. God be with you till we meet again.